All right, today in PreCalc, we are going to review lines. This is all review. So, what is a graph? A graph is a set of points. And the solution to an equation are all of the ordered pairs that lie on that line. Okay, you guys know what a line is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing that we have the characteristic of a line is its steepness, how steep a line is. And if it rises from left to right or falls from left to right. You guys remember what slope is, right?
I hope so.
So you hope so. The slope measures, it's measuring the steepness from one point to the other. And the definition, it's the change of y over the change of x. You also learned a formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You guys know that formula. So, here we go. Let's just review quickly. Example 1, find the slope given 2 points. If I gave you 2 ordered pairs, and you were asked to sketch a graph, can you plot these points? Sure. 0, negative 1 is right here, and 4, 1 is right here. So if we drew a line through those 2 points, how do you measure the rate of change from this point to that point? Well, we always read a graph left to right, so it's a positive slope. We're going up. It's a positive slope line. What letter do we use to indicate slope? M. Good. The M, the slope is positive. Now, how do you, on a graph, define the rate of change on this line? Well, you want to find the vertical distance, which is this up and down. How many units is it from here? You make a right triangle. How many units is this from here to here? 2. And how many units is it from here to here? 4. So the slope is the vertical distance over the horizontal distance. Can you reduce this fraction? 1/2. Now, the formula way, do you guys remember in 9th grade learning the slide? Anyone know what the slide is?
Yeah.
Okay, these are your 2 ordered pairs. The formula way we make this slide, remember this?
I've never seen that.
And what you do is, these are your y values, and these are your x values. It's the difference, so it's -1 minus 1, it's the difference over 0 minus 4. You just slide these down. See what I did? Just slid them down. So like these 2 are going down the slide. What is -1 minus 1?
-2.
What's 0 minus 4?
-4.
What is -2 over -4?
Yeah.
1/2, and there you go. It's the same slope. Easy? Okay. Me too. Okay, the properties of slope are as follows. If your slope is positive, if it's a positive slope, your graph is rising to the right. You're going up. If it's a negative slope, it's falling to the right. So your line, you read a graph left to right. So think of going downstairs versus going upstairs. Okay? Now, do you guys remember how to write, what type of slope intercept form? This is slope intercept form. Now, do you know where the slope is?
That's the X.
Right here. This slope is -2, and this slope is 1/2. If I asked you which line is steeper,
It's the A.
this is steeper. You take the absolute value of that in the bigger number, you ignore the negative, basically. So you're going to compare 2 with 1/2, and the bigger number is the steeper slope. So this one is steeper. Got it? Okay, so back to slope-intercept form. Here's your slope-intercept form. We all know this one very well. So when I ask you a question, I say, write the equation of this line in slope-intercept form, you need to know what the form looks like, y equals mx plus b. So, here we go. If I asked you to graph this line, this is not in slope-intercept form, but how do you get an equation in slope-intercept form? What would I do to 2y minus 5x equals 2? How do you get this equation in slope-intercept form? What do you do? I'm going to bring negative 5x over. What does negative 5x become? Positive 5x. And divide everything by 2. Okay, so now, how do you graph this line? Where do you begin?
1.
You're going to begin at 1 on the y-axis, and from there, where are you going to go?
Go 5 up over 2.
5 up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 2.
And you can mirror it and go.
And then you can keep going, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 2. And you can also go down 5 and over 2. And connect the dots. So you'll have one like that on your test. The next format you need to know, the formula, is the point slope formula, and it's exactly that. It's a point with a slope. Now, it could be 2 points and no slope. Why could it be 2 points? Because 2 points you can figure out a slope. What does point slope look like? It looks like y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Where all you do is substitute these subscript x1, y1, that's your ordered pair. Make sure you put the x goes here, then y, and this is your slope. These two x and y stay. So let's do an example. Example 6 says, sketch means draw the graph of a line that passes through, it contains this point. So what should we do with 1, negative 6? Plot it. 1, negative 6 is where? And the slope is 2. Can you we need a numerator and a denominator. What's the denominator? 1. So it's a positive slope line, so my graph is going to be going this way. From this point, we're going to rise 2 and run 1. You guys remember doing this? And can we go the other way? Yes. Connect your dots. Now, to finish this question, it says, write the equation in slope-intercept form. So, there's a couple of things you could do. Can you tell me where this line hit the y-axis at? Where is that at? What number is that? 8. Negative 8. And what did we say the slope was? It was given 2. Now, based on those two things, you can write the equation in slope-intercept form, right? So if m is 2, and we just found the b value is negative 8, what would be the equation? Y equals 2x minus 8.
Didn't you just solve it by plugging it in?
Yep, now the other way you could have done this is you could have started off here, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. You would plug in x1 and y1 here in your slope of 2. So let's do that. Let's do it that way. So it'd be y minus a negative 6 or plus 6 equals the slope is 2 and then x minus 1. Now, the question says, write the equation in slope-intercept form. Is this slope-intercept form? No, I'm not. If you leave the answer like that, I'm going to mark it wrong and you're not going to be happy with me because you're going to say, wait, I wrote the equation. It says, write the equation in this form. What analogy do I always use? When I say, answer the question, what do I say? If I ask you a question like, what's your favorite color? And you say pizza, it's wrong. Pizza's your favorite, you're not answering my specific question. This is the right answer to a different question. So we have to finish this off, and every year on a test, I get this answer and I have to mark it wrong. And now, is it in slope-intercept form yet? What do you have to do with this 6?
Put it on the other side.
So there you go. Here's your answer. Now, if the directions, the question said write an equation of the line, then guess what? You got me. You can write it in whatever form you want. You could have left it like this. This is actually an equation. It wasn't specified what form. Okay, a couple properties of special lines. When you see, and you guys know this, when you see a vertical line or a horizontal line, and I ask you, what's the equation of this line? If, let's say this is passing through, let's say this is a 3 right here, what would be the equation of this line?
X equals 3.
X equals 3. That's the name of this line. That's the correct answer. If I ask you what is the slope of this line, what is it?
Undefined.
It's undefined. Good. There is a difference. A lot of times people, I'll say, what is the equation of this line? And they'll write undefined. That's not the correct answer. The name of this line is x equals 3. Its slope, its rate of change is undefined. For this one, this would be y equals 3. What's the slope of this line?
0.
0. So you guys remember those two. Okay, what do you remember about parallel versus perpendicular? Parallel lines versus perpendicular. What do you know about their slopes? Parallel, they're the same. Opposite reciprocal. Excellent. So, here's a question for you. You're given this line, 3x minus 2y plus 6 equals 0. I want two different equations, and they didn't specify what kind of equation. Slope, intercept, point slope, standard form. So we need to write two equations. One parallel to this line, one perpendicular to this line, but both of those lines contain this point. So what should I do first to this line? Because I want a line parallel and a line perpendicular to this line. What do I need to find first? You need to find the slope of this line. What is the m value? Because that's necessary for these two questions. So how can we get, what's the fastest, easiest way to get y by itself? Should I subtract 3x and subtract 6, or should I add 2y? I would bring this over here. You guys are pre-calc, you should be able to do it that way. What is the slope now? What's the slope? It's 3/2. So, 3/2 is the slope if it's parallel. What if it's perpendicular?
-2.
Very good. So let's begin by writing these in point slope form. So for A, it's parallel to this line. So what slope am I going to use? 3/2. And we're going to use this ordered pair. So it's y plus 1 and then x minus 2. Next, how do you write it perpendicular? What's going to change? What's going to change perpendicular? The only thing that's going to change is your slope. It's going to be Now technically, those are two good answers, but let's take one step further on this one. What if I asked you to convert this to slope-intercept form? What would you do? You could do one of two things. You could distribute this. That's probably your easiest thing to do. 3/2 times x is 3/2 x. And 3/2 times -2 is, these cancel, you get -3. And then subtract 1, so you get y equals 3/2 x minus 4. So read the question. Now this one, I would do something a little different. Instead of multiplying, distributing, I would multiply this, this, and this. You have 3 terms here. I would multiply them all by 3. So for this one, how I would handle it is I would multiply 3 times y, 3 times 1, 3 times -2/3. Why 3? Why 3? So you can get rid of that fraction. So you have 3y plus 3 equals, and then you can distribute that, -2x plus 4. And then slide, you're going to slide this over. And then divide everything by 3. That's if they ask you to do that. Okay, and the last question. How do you write something in standard form? What does standard form look like? It's right there. ax plus by equals c. What does standard form not have? Fractions. Does it have fractions? And the order matters. It goes ax plus b. The reason they use capital letters because the numbers are not, see this greater than or equal to 0 means not a fraction. So, how can I first get rid of the fraction in this problem? How do I get rid of that 2? What can I do?
Multiply.
You're going to multiply everything by 2. So you get 2y equals 1x plus 6. That's multiplying all 3 terms by 2. Now, the order is not correct. What goes in front? This goes in front, so it's going to become -1x. Now, this is an okay answer, but there's a better answer. Does anyone know what the best answer is? What did I do from here to here?
Yeah, you multiply it all by -1.
Multiplied everything by -1. And that's standard form. So this concludes your notes. And now we're going to do, next page is the assignment.